Well, I wanted to talk about, The Long Walk is something that I've wanted to see for 45 years. It's coming out from Lionsgate. From what I remember, Frank Darabont used to own the rights to The Long Walk. Of course, Frank Darabont made The Woman in the Room, which was his TV movie that he made. Then he was able to parlay that, and he made Shawshank Redemption, which is his first theatrical feature based on Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption from different seasons. And then he went on and made, of course, the Green Mile, and he made The Mist. And this was a book that you had been tracking for a long time. You now have a long-standing relationship with King and his people. How were you able to finally get the rights to The Long Walk, and how long did it take you to do that from the time you looked into them to the time you finally acquired them?
I got a call from the agent, Stephen King's agent, saying that the rights are available again because it was the last place didn't make it, and after because it's option periods usually for 18 months plus 18 months.
Right, and it had gone through
many different people. And so and they knew that I was waiting for it, and I just got a call during the strike. I can't remember exactly when, but we weren't able to start it till after the strike ended, the writer's strike. And so from the time we started working on it to the time we wrapped was about 2 years.
Wow. So when something comes like that available, do you just option it, or did you buy the rights outright?
In that instance, I didn't necessarily have to buy anything.
Because you already had
I already had a relationship with them, so they knew that if I put something together, they would get paid, and so
right.
I just put the package together, and at the time I had a deal at Lionsgate, and they paid for everything.
Wow. So once you acquire the rights, take us on a timeline. So you get the call, you get the rights, you say, yes, I want to move forward. You go to Lionsgate where you have a deal, or you go to Warner Brothers, or you go to Netflix.
I had a deal at Lionsgate, but at the time, when I get the rights, I was just being told, I don't have to sign any paperwork. They're just like, you have them. And so then I would call CAA.
But that's unusual. Like most producers would have to get the rights and get but you're in a...
I don't think, most producers that have worked with Stephen King in the past won't have to go through the signing of a contract or anything. And so
I just was saying for new producers who are
if they have never worked with King or if anyone, you'd want a contract, or the person who owns the rights. And so I would call CAA, but actually in this instance, I was doing a movie with Francis Lawrence at Netflix, which we were supposed to be doing BioShock, and the script just wasn't ready at the time, and so he had a year wait before he had to do the Hunger Games movie, and the script just wasn't ready at the time, and so he was supposed to go into doing the next Hunger Games movie in a year. So he was like, I was hoping to do this during that year, but it just wasn't ready. And so I had gotten the call for the rights, and I was like, what do you think of The Long Walk? And he's like, I love it. And at the same time, I was doing post on Strange Darling, and I was talking to JT, and I was like, he was just talking about what he could do next, and he goes, I love Stephen King, he's my favorite author. And I was like, do you like Long Walk? And he goes, I love it. And so I just put JT and Francis together. They hit it off, and that's when we took it to Lionsgate and formed the whole thing.
So again, once they pulled the trigger there, how long did it take for you to get a draft of the script in?
2 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of shape was that draft in?
I don't actually know fully because he was dealing directly with Francis.
Okay.
And so they were doing meeting daily, and when they presented the script to Lionsgate, they had spent some time on it, and the Lionsgate just greenlit it.
Yeah, I was curious about from the time you get the rights to when do you find yourself in production?
Between 5 and 6 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's got to be great to be you.
Yeah.
To be able to get a project you get the call in 6 months you're in production.
Yeah.
I want to live like that in that world. It seemed to me because of where it was shot. Was it shot in Canada?
Yep, Manitoba.
It's beautiful. Locations.
A park, just like a public. Like a public park that was a long street in the middle.
So was that a long shoot? Because it looked like it didn't necessarily. It wouldn't have to last long because you're in the same. You're walking.
Yeah, it was for Francis said it was a low budget movie, which was $20 million.
That's it.
Yep.
Wow. So you're 6 months in. What was the schedule? How many?
Like 35 days, I guess.
Wow. So it really was like lower budget. You don't feel like you're watching some low budget. It's a very lush film. So when you get into casting, do you ever have any say on that? Because the cast of that film is terrific.
That's all Francis. Like Francis was like his first choice was David Johnson. He was like, that's the guy, and then everything sort of fell into place.
For those who people don't know, David Johnson played the android in Alien Romulus. He's incredible in his performance. He plays Peter DeVries, unbelievable. I mean, this guy's commands the screen. He's a star. And then you've got Cooper Hoffman, again coming off of something like Licorice Pizza. Another great find, playing Ray Garrity. And these two guys are really the heart and soul of the film. And, of course, Mark Hamill, his second Stephen King adaptation this year after Life of Chuck, another great performance. Do you have any consultation on that? I mean,
he runs it by, but he makes all the calls, and he did an incredible job at it.
When you hear, though, when you get it, when you know that you're going to get this kind of a cast, are you stoked? Did you get all excited about
Absolutely, especially because when we saw Alien Romulus, that was such a great performance. In fact, David watched it for the first time with us during production. That's how
oh, really?
How early on. So Francis chose him before even seeing Alien Romulus.
But do you ever watch dailies? Do they send you dailies?
They send me dailies, but it's like
you just let it go.
Hours of time.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But they still do that, which is interesting. So, but you were aware of the entire production process.
Yes.
So, what's it like for you then to go in and watch a first cut? Like, do you like to watch first cuts? Do you like to? When someone decides to show you the film, how does that go with you?
I prefer it further along the process as it could be.
So it's more finished.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, a lot of people don't like watching rough cuts because they can't, I totally get that. What's it like for you to see something like The Long Walk realized? I still have romantic notions about the movie business. I love movies. I've loved them my whole life, and there still is a magic there. You've made so many movies now. Is there still magic for you when you sit down and watch a film for the first time?
Not as much. That's the bummer of things, is like the experience people get from watching Barbarian for the first time or watching Weapons. I could never get that because I've already read it and I know the process. I mean, I get the feeling when I read it, but it's not the same as seeing it in the movie with a crowd of people.
Right. But you know if it's well done.
Yes.
Like because you read the script, you can see then I guess the question should be, when you've seen a well-written script fully realized by the people that made it, that must feel gratifying for you, even from a business perspective.
Being at a test screening, especially when we saw Weapons screened for the first time with a group of people who had no idea about anything other than it's a horror movie, because they didn't know who Zach Cregger was, they didn't know Barbarian, they just knew it was a horror movie. And when they got to the end of the movie, and when the craziness happens of the chase, people were just cheering. It was like a rock concert. It was great.
One of the things about The Long Walk is I think people know what happens. The first time it happens in The Long Walk, the first time someone gets their ticket punched, it's pretty damn shocking. I don't think people quite understand. Like, even in my audience, which was a media audience, people had a visceral response in the theater. And that particular effect, the way Francis Lawrence directed it, it has a particular shock value that really works. It really hits it home. When you're watching The Long Walk, in this case, did you feel that? The Long Walk has a few things you don't normally see in movies.
That was intentional. Like, we really wanted it to be brutal and to just get that really strong reaction.
It works.
Yeah.
And then you see bodily functions portrayed in a way you don't normally see.
All CGI, though.
Of course, but it was still like, wow. I mean, it worked. I mean, the Long Walk has a lot of things in it that I'd always wanted to see, that I was like, how are they going to do that? And are they going to shy away from that? They did not. And it was great to see. I've wanted to see this for 45 years, but it's still a great adaptation of the Stephen King story. It's still, if you've read The Long Walk and you go see the movie, they did it. I mean, you guys nailed it. Francis Lawrence did a beautiful job directing it. The cast was incredible. I think probably, as you explained to me, you have the ending you needed that the movie demanded.
Yep.
I just can't wait for people to see this particular film. Now, I would be remiss. You've done so many Stephen King adaptations. You said that you've got others in the pipeline. Is there a Stephen King adaptation that hasn't been done? That if you had your dream King adaptation, even if it was to remake something that was already done, they're redoing Carrie.
Oh yeah, I talked to Stephen's agent last night because I was like, the next thing that comes available, I want to do The Dark Tower, and I will do it right.
Yes, please. I mean, they've tried to do that. They were going to do the series. Ron Howard was going to do the movies and the series. And okay, let me ask you this then: your approach in The Dark Tower. Would you go back into start with the gunslinger?
Yeah, I would just do a small movie with the gunslinger and just make it
and do the first book.
Very faithful to the first book.
Wow. Okay.
And if in success, expand further. But just
right, and that's the way to do it. Make the first movie
Yep.
work and then expand. That's exciting.